I left everything I knew and went to places I haven't been before. As a boy from Philippines who flew halfway around the world and moved to London, I'm no stranger to new places. For a decade I thought I learned everything I needed to learn and acquired skills that would set me in stone. Turns out, there's more to life than a desk job, a regular wage, while surrounded by all those material comforts. I hungered for adventure. Now my journey has led me to Portugal. I left family and friends, the places I called home, to go out and see the world. Because when you're in the mood for travel, you're in the mood for life. Why Lisbon, you might ask? Why this city? Well, why not Lisbon? The funny thing is, I haven't even been here before. I must be a bit insane to move to this place I haven't even visited, not even once. I mean, on paper, it sounded like it's got everything going. The sun, the sea, the sights, the history, the food, the wine, the balanced lifestyle. I had to find these out for myself, and I must say, it didn't take that long for me to be convinced by this place. So come and take a walk with me, and I'll tell you about Lisbon and why I moved here, just in case, you'll end up at this part of the world. It's so easy to wax lyrical of the new places that we choose to live in and what they mean to each one of us. I've got to tell you, Lisbon is far from perfect. I mean, no place is perfect. But I think it's not an overstatement to say that Lisbon is beautiful. This is a city defined by that old European allure. If it weren't for Athens and Greece, this would have been the oldest European city. Yep, it's older than Rome. And despite an unfortunate earthquake in the late 18th century, like a phoenix rising from the ashes, Lisbon was quickly remodeled into the city that we now know today. Take a stroll through the boulevard of Avenida da Liberdade, where it's lined with trees and handcrafted limestone pavements. Through the wide, open, bustling squares of Restauradores and Rocio. Amble around the grid-like streets of Baixá, where you'll see most of the Pombaline architecture. And don't forget to walk through Praça do Município, where the Portuguese Republic was declared. And ultimately, head to the river and see one of Europe's greatest squares, Praça do Comércio, and you'll see some of the grandest architecture Lisbon has to offer. Where you're in Praça do Comércio, try and go up the Rua Augusta Arch. It costs €3. You'll get a breathtaking view that's perhaps not to die for, but to live for. Afterwards, head to Chiado, the most elegant district in the city, where neoclassical meets Belle Époque. Some of Lisbon's most gorgeous buildings are here. It's at once a stylish shopping centre and a theatre district. Oh, we should stop at the flowers. Come smell the flowers. Come here to grab a bite to eat. Or simply hang out in one of the cafes and feel the vibe. It's no wonder Portuguese literary luminaries like Pessoa used to come and write here in Chiado. Also, if you're feeling peckish, head to Praça Luís de Camões to get some Portuguese classic in manteigaria, which, in my opinion, makes the best pastel de nata in town. And you know what's interesting? One of the most unique elevators is here. The Elevador de Santa Justa, a 19th century neo-Gothic iron masterwork. It costs €5 to get up there, but wait for it. Here's a little tip. If you want to go up the elevator, and if you want to avoid tourist queues, come here at Largo de Carmo and you'll find this little pathway right at the side of this ruined church. You'll end up in exactly the same platform as the elevator where you see the views of Lisbon.
Dolphin in the sea, rolling in the waves, flirting with the breeze. Got my sunny shades on, play my favorite song. Thankful for the charm, life rocking in my phone. I ain't looking for attention, I don't need the extra tension, cause I'm in the fourth dimension. Trapeze high in suspension. Now don't bother with the haters, cause they all be imitators. Real life manipulators. Get it back up and see you later.
So are you ready to climb all of Lisbon's hills? What if we do a challenge, and for every single hill we climb, we drink a beer at the top? And this is known to be the city of 7 hills, and I've heard that there's far more hills than that, maybe about 100. And probably by the 4th hill would get really smashed. If there's anything these hills are good for in Lisbon, I suppose, number 1, it's good for your legs. 2, it's good for your butt. 3, it's good for your heart. Unless, of course, you have heart problems, then that's not recommended. If you feel suddenly tired, you might as well get this funicular. Is that what these babies are for over there? Yeah, get one of these. Makes the climb a lot easier. Yes, let's talk about Lisbon's hills. There's plenty of them, alright. So make sure you bring comfortable shoes to walk around. Much of the city's soul and beauty are set on these hills, where the neighborhoods of Alfama and Graça are mostly untouched by time and natural events. You can either catch those rolling vintage trams, which is always packed, or get one of these tuk-tuks, which, let's face it, is too expensive for an incredibly bumpy ride. But you know what's priceless? Using those pair of legs. Take a walk. See those incredible viewpoints, which they call here as miradouros. Bask in the atmosphere. Soak up that sun. Take that memorable photograph. Get lost in the winding streets and experience one cobbled pathway, one flight of steps at a time. Ascend to Miradouro de Graça and keep climbing up to the highest point in Lisbon, the Miradouro Senhora da Monte, and I promise it'll be worth it. Well, if it weren't for these hills, we wouldn't have these views, would we? Life is slower here, and way more connected to the elements. It's a city that's defined by the Iberian sun, and it enjoys at least 300 days of sunshine per year, some of the highest amount of sun in the entirety of Europe. A sun so bright, it reflects across this city of contrasts, from the historic facades to its modernist structures, with colors bursting from the beautiful tiles on the buildings. And that shade of blue, it's perennially painted on its skies, right down to the place where the river greets the sea. Speaking of which, perhaps there's nothing better than to spend some time along Lisbon's glittering waterfront, where life spills out at every end of the day, where people simply enjoy the relaxing view, drink some beer, watch the tides change as sailboats float by, all set to the sun setting on that horizon. It's worth noting, it's an incredibly peaceful city too, and that's something not to take for granted. Currently, Portugal is the 3rd most peaceful country on the planet, according to the Global Peace Index. People from all walks of life come here, to a city that's a manifestation of a tolerant society. Everyone is accepted. No adventurous soul stays in one place across a lifetime. Who knows where life might throw me next? But while I'm here, I'll try to enjoy the best of Lisbon.